The twin moons of Elysium Prime hung low over the horizon, their pale silver light casting long, dancing shadows over the alien plains. Jagged crystal formations jutted out of the earth like frozen lightning, glinting faintly under the moon's glow. A soft breeze carried the sweet scent of luminescent flowers, their petals glowing faintly in the night, painting the barren land with life. Jack Callahan rode slowly along a narrow, winding trail that skirted the river, letting the soft clatter of his horse's hooves mix with the whispering currents. Jack was a cowboy by instinct and habit. Though this planet was far from Earth, far from the deserts of his home world, he carried the same determination, the same rugged independence. His wide-brimmed hat shaded his weathered face even in the dim light. The dust of the plains clung to his coat, and his boots were worn from miles of wandering. He had come to Elysium Prime, seeking a new life, a fresh start far from crowded cities and complicated laws. He had found work as a guide for explorers and survey teams, but mostly, he preferred solitude. That night, the quiet seemed heavier than usual, like the land itself was holding its breath. Jack's eyes scanned the riverbank, noticing the gentle shimmer of water under the moons. The river twisted and curved like a silver ribbon, its surface smooth, reflecting stars and moons in a way that made it look endless. Jack had always loved rivers. They were full of life, full of stories. But tonight, something else called to him, a small, soft sound, like quiet sobbing carried over the wind. Jack slowed his horse and listened carefully. The sound grew clearer, a soft, steady weeping. He frowned, scanning the riverbank. At first, he saw nothing but rocks, reeds, and the occasional flash of moonlight on water. But then, near a bend in the river, he saw her, a young girl, sitting on a smooth stone, her head buried in her arms, shoulders shaking. Her hair was long and dark, falling in waves like the night itself. She wore a simple tunic of woven fibers, patterned with symbols that looked almost like constellations. Jack's horse whinnied softly, sensing his rider's hesitation. Jack dismounted carefully, his boots crunching on the gravel. He took a few steps closer, speaking softly. "Hey there, you all right?" The girl flinched but didn't move. The sound of her sobbing was gentle, yet it tugged at something deep in Jack's chest. He crouched a few feet away, careful not to frighten her further. "You're safe," he said. "I won't hurt you." For a long moment, there was silence, save for the murmur of the river. Then, very slowly, the girl lifted her head. Her eyes were wide and dark, reflecting the moonlight. There was a raw sadness in them, a sorrow so deep it made Jack's chest tighten. My people," she whispered. Her voice was soft, almost breaking. They are gone." Jack frowned. "Gone? What do you mean?" She looked at him for a long time, and Jack saw fear and hesitation in her gaze. Finally, she spoke. "A storm. It came from the sky. A strange, glowing storm. It took everyone I knew. I don't know where they went." Jack's eyes narrowed. Strange storms were not unknown on Elysium Prime, but this sounded different. More than different. Dangerous. He knew the planet held mysteries, strange energy fields, alien wildlife, unpredictable weather, but he had never heard of anything that could take an entire group of people. Who are you?" he asked, keeping his voice gentle. "Where are you from?" "My name is Ayana," she said. We are the Apache descendants. Our tribe." She shivered, hugging her knees. "We were guarding something important, and now they are all gone. I don't know what to do." Jack took a deep breath, trying to think clearly. He had faced dangerous creatures, harsh terrain, and storms of every kind. But seeing a young girl so alone, so scared, stirred something inside him. He had seen loss before. He had survived it, and yet, something about Ayana's sorrow made him feel a need to protect her, not out of duty, but out of instinct. "You don't have to be alone," he said quietly. "I can help, Maybe we can find your people. Ayana looked at him with wide, suspicious eyes. Why? Why would you help me? Jack shrugged lightly. Because it's the right thing to do. And because, sometimes, helping someone else helps you too. He smiled faintly, trying to ease the tension. I've seen a lot in my time. The world, no, this planet is full of surprises. But one thing I know. Humans stick together, especially when there's trouble. Her lips trembled, but she nodded slowly. Okay. I'll trust you. Jack reached into his satchel and pulled out a small water flask, handing it to her. Drink. You'll need your strength if we're going to find your people. Ayana took it with trembling hands, drinking cautiously. The water was cool, refreshing, and for a moment, the weight of her grief seemed lighter. Jack watched her, noting the determination hidden beneath the sadness. She was young, yes, but she was brave, in a quiet, steady way. She had survived something unimaginable, and he realized that this journey, whatever lay ahead, would not be easy. But somehow, he had the sense that it would change both of them forever. The night deepened, and the river's current whispered against the stones. Jack helped Ayana to her feet. She was small, fragile-looking, but surprisingly steady. Together, they began walking along the riverbank, moving carefully through the tall, glowing reeds. As they walked, Jack asked questions, gently, without rushing. Tell me about your tribe. What were you guarding? Ayana hesitated, then spoke. It's hard to explain. It's a device. It holds energy. Great energy. My people. We were supposed to protect it. Keep it safe from those who might misuse it. But now, her voice faltered. I don't know what to do. Quote, Jack nodded slowly. He didn't fully understand yet, but he could feel the weight of the situation. This was no ordinary lost tribe. There was something bigger, something important, that needed protecting. And as a cowboy, as someone who had always faced danger head-on, he felt a surge of purpose. We'll figure it out, he said firmly, step by step. First, we get you somewhere safe. Then, we find your people. Ayana looked at him, a flicker of hope in her eyes. For the first time that day, her sobbing had stopped. The plains were quiet again. But now the silence felt less empty. The wind whispered through the crystal formations, carrying the scent of the glowing flowers. And Jack felt, deep in his chest, that the river had not just been a place of sorrow. It had been a place of meeting, a place where two paths converged. His life, he realized, was about to change. As they walked, the first hints of dawn crept over the horizon, turning the alien sky shades of pink and orange. Jack glanced at Ayana, then at the river, and thought about the long road ahead. There would be dangers, challenges, mysteries beyond imagination, but he also knew this. Some journeys were meant to test not just your skill, but your heart. And with Ayana by his side, Jack Callahan was ready to face whatever this strange, beautiful world could throw at them. The river whispered on, endless and bright, carrying their footsteps into the unknown. The morning sun spilled over the alien plains, turning the crystals into sparkling shards of gold and pink. Jack and Ayana had spent the night near the river, sleeping on soft moss that grew among the stones. The river still whispered its silver song, calm now, as if it had witnessed the sorrow and relief of the previous night, and was willing to watch over them. Jack stirred first, sitting up and brushing the dew from his coat. He glanced at Ayana, who was still asleep, her dark hair spilling over her shoulders. He couldn't shake the feeling that the day ahead would be unlike any other he had faced. Ayana's tribe, her people, there was a story there, and it was bigger than just a missing group. He could feel it in his bones. Ayana, he said softly, nudging her shoulder. Time to wake up. She stirred, blinking sleep from her eyes. Morning, she said, her voice quiet. Her lips curved into a small, tentative smile. Did the river? Talk to you? Jack chuckled softly. Maybe. Or maybe I just like listening to it. He offered her some bread and dried fruit he carried in his satchel. She accepted it gratefully, and they ate in silence, the river flowing gently beside them. Once they were ready to move, Jack spoke. Tell me about your tribe. About the device. You said it holds energy? Ayanna nodded, looking out at the horizon. It's hard to explain. Our tribe has always been guardians. Long ago, humans left behind machines, tools, things we don't fully understand. Most were buried or lost. But one was found by my ancestors. It holds energy unlike anything I've ever seen. It can do things. Protect, create, even heal. That's why my people kept it safe. Jack listened carefully. He didn't fully understand, but he felt the importance of her words. There was power here, power that could change lives. And the storm? It took your people? He asked. Ayanna nodded, shivering at the memory. It came fast. A bright light in the sky. Strong winds that moved like they had minds of their own. One moment they were there, and then, gone. I followed the river, hoping it would lead me to them. Jack nodded slowly. He knew the planet was full of surprises. Strange storms, unexpected wildlife, and unusual energy fields were all part of Elysium Prime. But this sounded different. Something unnatural had happened. We'll find them, he said firmly, step by step. First, we need to track where the storm came from. Then, maybe we can find your tribe. Ayanna looked at him with a mixture of hope and worry. Do you really think it's possible? Jack shrugged. I don't know. But I do know this. Humans are strong. We figure things out. And sometimes, we do impossible things when we have to. Together, they followed the river upstream. The landscape changed as they moved. Moss gave way to low shrubs, and then to rocky hills. Jack noticed strange markings on the stones, etched in patterns that looked almost like constellations. Ayanna gasped softly. My people made these, she whispered. They guide us. Mark safe paths, warn of danger. Jack squinted. The symbols were intricate, glowing faintly in the early sunlight. They led them around jagged rock formations and over small creeks, always keeping the river close. Jack realized that Ayanna's ancestors had not only protected the device, they had mapped the land in ways that made it almost impossible to get lost. As they walked, Ayanna began to explain more about her people. We are Apache descendants, she said. We keep our traditions alive, even on this planet. We sing, tell stories, and honor the land. The device. It's part of our duty. Not just for power, but for balance. We believe it must be used wisely. That's why my people. We protect it from those who would misuse it. Jack nodded, impressed. Sounds like a heavy responsibility for a tribe to carry. Ayanna's eyes filled with sadness. It was. But we were strong. We worked together. We laughed. We sang at the river. Everything was normal. Until the storm, they walked in silence for a while, listening to the river and the wind in the alien grass. Jack knew this journey would not be easy. The landscape was unpredictable. Creatures of all shapes and sizes could appear at any moment. But he also knew that the strength of Ayanna's people, their courage, and their wisdom, would guide them. As midday approached, the terrain became more rugged. Jack spotted a narrow canyon ahead, its walls lined with jagged crystal formations. The river disappeared briefly into a rocky tunnel, and Jack knew this could be dangerous. He motioned for Ayanna to stay close. Stay behind me, he said softly. The canyon can be tricky. There may be hidden drops, sharp rocks, or creatures that like narrow spaces. Ayanna nodded, trusting him. She had no choice but to rely on this stranger. This cowboy, who had promised to help her find her people. They entered the canyon carefully. The walls glowed faintly with embedded crystals, casting soft, shifting light. The air was cooler here, and Jack noticed faint energy pulses in the stones. He frowned. The readings were unusual, not dangerous, but significant. Ayana's eyes widened. This is part of the old paths. My people. We traveled through here sometimes to teach the young ones about the river and the land. Jack looked around, admiring the skill of her people. Even in this alien land, they had found ways to connect with the planet, to leave guidance for those who followed. They were clever, he said softly. Very clever. As they moved deeper, a soft glow appeared in the distance. It was subtle, almost like the crystals themselves were humming. Jack's heart quickened. Could this be connected to the device, or to the storm that had taken Ayana's tribe? Do you feel it? Ayana whispered. The energy? Jack nodded. I do. It's different, strong but calm. Like it's waiting for someone. They approached cautiously. The glow became clearer, forming a pattern on the canyon floor, a circle of etched stones, pulsing with light. Jack recognized it as a kind of ancient marker. He knelt down, studying it. This isn't just decoration, he said. Ayana stepped closer, her eyes wide. My people, they left this, to guide me, to show the way to the device. Jack felt a surge of respect. This young girl, alone on an alien planet, had the courage to follow the path her people had left. And now, together, they were uncovering secrets that had been hidden for generations. Suddenly, a soft hum filled the canyon. The stones beneath their feet vibrated gently. Ayana gasped. It's reacting to us, she whispered. Jack stood, eyes scanning the area. Something tells me we're on the right path, he said. But we need to be careful. This is powerful. And it may not be the only thing we find today. Ayana nodded, gripping his hand briefly for courage. Together, they followed the glowing path deeper into the canyon, stepping over stones that hummed with energy. Each step seemed to bring them closer to her tribe, or at least, to answers about where they had gone. By late afternoon, they reached a clearing at the canyon's heart. The river flowed into a wide pool, reflecting the glow of the crystals around it. And there, at the center, was a strange pedestal, carved from the same glowing stone as the canyon walls. Ayana gasped, falling to her knees. The device, she whispered. It's here. Jack approached carefully, studying the pedestal. It pulsed with energy, soft at first, then stronger, as if sensing their presence. He could feel it under his fingertips, a warmth that was comforting rather than dangerous. This is incredible, Jack said softly. I've never seen anything like it. Ayana's eyes filled with tears. But this time, they were not of sorrow, they were of hope. If we can understand it, maybe we can help my people. Maybe we can bring them back. Jack nodded, feeling a sense of purpose stronger than he had ever felt. The journey was far from over, but the first step had been taken. Together, they would uncover the secrets of the lost tribe, the power of the device, and the mysteries of this strange, beautiful world. And for the first time since the storm, Ayana smiled. The river whispered beside them, as if cheering their courage. The glow from the pedestal faded as the sun sank behind the jagged hills, casting long shadows across the canyon floor. Jack and Ayana stayed by the pool for a while, examining the pedestal and the soft hum it gave off. It was alive with energy, but calm, like it was waiting for someone who knew how to use it. Jack ran his fingers along the smooth stone. It's powerful, he said, but it doesn't feel dangerous. Not yet. Ayana nodded. My people. We knew how to protect it. Only those who understand can approach without harm. That's why the storm couldn't take it. It's hidden, shielded. Jack looked at her with admiration. You're very brave, Ayana. I can see why your tribe trusted you with this. She blushed slightly but looked determined. I have to find them. They're out there somewhere. I can feel it. Jack studied the canyon. It was quiet now, almost too quiet. He knew this planet could be unpredictable. Creatures, storms, strange energy fields, all could appear without warning. And yet, he felt something else in the air. Movement. Something. Observing. Do you feel that? He asked, his voice low. Ayanna nodded slowly. Yes, someone or something is here. They stepped carefully out of the clearing, moving toward a narrow passage that led further into the canyon. As they walked, the soft glow of crystals illuminated strange markings on the walls. Jack noticed that some of the symbols matched the ones Ayanna had seen along the river. They were warnings, guidance, signs meant for humans who could understand. Suddenly, a faint rustle echoed from above. Jack froze, looking up. Tiny shadows moved along the cliffs. His instincts told him to be cautious. He signaled for Ayanna to stay close. Then, from the rocks above, several beings emerged. They were unlike anything Jack had seen before. Tall, slender, with translucent skin that shimmered in the crystal light. Their eyes glowed faintly, and their movements were fluid, almost graceful. Ayanna gasped. The Zerathi, she whispered. They've been following me. Jack stepped protectively in front of her. Zerathi? He asked, his voice firm but calm. They are aliens, she explained. They hunt for energy sources. They want the device my people guard. They took my tribe, I think, to study them. They mean no good. Jack studied the beings carefully. They didn't seem aggressive yet, but their presence was clearly a warning. We need to be careful, he said. But we can't run forever. The Zerathi moved closer, their glowing eyes scanning Jack and Ayanna. Jack noticed their movements were intelligent, deliberate, but not immediately hostile. He decided to take a cautious approach. Listen, he said slowly, speaking in a calm voice. We're not looking for trouble. We just want to find her people and make sure they're safe. Ayanna's hands trembled slightly, but she nodded. We mean no harm. One of the Zerathi tilted its head, almost as if considering Jack's words. Then, in a soft, melodic tone, it spoke not in words Jack understood, but through vibrations he could feel in his chest. Ayanna's eyes widened. I can understand them, she whispered. They speak in energy patterns. It's like feelings made real. They are cautious, curious. Jack looked at her, amazed. You're saying you can communicate with them? Ayanna nodded. She stepped forward slowly, extending her hands in a peaceful gesture. The Zerathi responded by moving closer, their glowing bodies pulsating gently, as if matching her energy. Jack watched carefully, noting the patterns and timing. The largest of the Zerathi approached Ayanna, its glow brightening. Ayanna closed her eyes and focused, sending a calm, steady wave of energy toward it. The Zerathi paused, then pulsed in return, a sign of recognition. They're listening, she whispered. They want to know why I'm here. Jack felt a mix of awe and caution. He knew that humans had never encountered aliens like this before, beings that communicated through energy, not words. But he also knew that understanding was key. Fear and aggression would only make things worse. Ayanna concentrated, sending another pulse of calm energy. This time, the Zerathi moved back slightly, creating a clear space around them. Jack realized that her tribe's teachings had prepared her for this patience, empathy, and respect for others. Even dangerous beings could turn potential threats into allies. Good work, Jack whispered. Keep it steady. Don't rush it. Hours seemed to pass as Ayanna communicated with the Zerathi. Jack watched, impressed by her focus and courage. Finally, the beings seemed to accept their presence, stepping aside to allow them to continue deeper into the canyon. They are letting us pass, Ayanna said, her voice trembling with relief. They are curious, but not hostile. If we respect them, we might learn something. Jack nodded. Then let's keep moving. Carefully. They followed the narrow passage, which led them to a hidden valley. The valley was filled with strange, glowing plants that swayed as if responding to the energy in the air. A gentle mist hung low, carrying a sweet fragrance. Jack felt a sense of wonder. This was a part of Elysium Prime few humans had ever seen. Ayanna led the way, guided by her instincts and the memory of her people's paths. Jack followed, noticing small details. The way the plants bent to reveal paths, the faint markings on rocks, even the soft hum in the air that seemed to guide them forward. As they moved, Ayanna explained more about her tribe's role. "We were never meant to fight," she said. "Our strength was in understanding, in harmony. We studied the land, learned its energy, and protected the device. But the Zerathai, they only see power. They do not understand balance." Jack nodded slowly. "Then it's a good thing you're with me. Humans, we have a way of figuring things out too. Creativity, patience, courage. Sometimes that's stronger than raw power." They reached a cliff edge overlooking a vast valley. In the center was a strange formation, a ring of glowing stones surrounding a faint light. Jack's eyes widened. That could be where your tribe is," he said. Ayanna's breath caught. "Yes, I can feel it. The energy. It's familiar. They are there. Safe, but trapped." Jack studied the valley. There were natural barriers, steep cliffs, glowing rocks, and energy fields that shimmered like heat waves. The Zerathi were still nearby, but they had not followed, as if respecting the invisible rules of the place. "We need to get down there," Jack said. "Carefully. We can't rush it." Ayanna nodded. "My people. They taught me how to move quietly, how to follow the energy. I'll guide us." Step by step, they descended into the valley. The glowing stones hummed faintly underfoot, resonating with Ayanna's energy. Jack realized that the device her tribe protected was not just a tool. It was alive in a way, responding to the people it trusted. Finally, they reached the center of the ring. The light at the center pulsed softly. Jack could feel warmth, a gentle vibration that seemed to hum in tune with his heartbeat. "They're inside," Ayanna whispered. "The device. It created a safe space for my tribe. They're protected." Jack looked around in awe. The Zerathi might have been powerful and intelligent, but even they had not been able to penetrate this sanctuary. He realized that humans, through courage, ingenuity, and understanding, had achieved something remarkable. "We're here," Jack said softly. "Now, we figure out how to bring them back." Ayanna knelt by the glowing light, her hands hovering over it. She concentrated, sending calm energy pulses into the field. The light responded, pulsing brighter, forming shapes and outlines. Slowly, faint figures appeared. Her tribe, safe but suspended, as if resting. Tears filled Ayanna's eyes. "They're alive. They're really alive," she whispered. Jack smiled, feeling pride and awe. This was more than a rescue. It was a moment of understanding, of human potential. A young girl had guided them here, teaching him that courage, empathy, and respect could overcome even the most alien of obstacles. As the sun set over the valley, casting long, golden shadows, Jack and Ayanna prepared for the next step, learning how to free her tribe and unlock the device's true power. They knew challenges still lay ahead, but for the first time, hope felt real, and the possibilities endless. The alien valley hummed around them, alive with light and energy, as if acknowledging the courage of these two humans who dared to face the unknown. The valley was bathed in the soft glow of alien crystals, their light reflecting off the gentle mist that hung low over the ground. Jack and Ayanna stood at the center of the glowing ring, gazing down at the device. The faint outlines of her tribe hovered within the energy field, peaceful but suspended in a timeless state. The air hummed with energy, a soft vibration that seemed to sync with their hearts. Ayanna knelt, her fingers brushing the glowing light. They're safe, she whispered. The device. It's protecting them. But I don't know how long it can hold. I need to understand it. To bring them back. Jack studied the device carefully. It was a structure of smooth, shining stone, with faint patterns etched across its surface. The light seemed almost alive, responding to their presence. He could feel the warmth and hum beneath his fingertips. It's incredible, he said. I've never seen anything like this. But it feels familiar, somehow. Like it's meant for people like us. Ayana looked up at him, eyes wide. Do you think it could be humanity's doing? Jack nodded slowly. Maybe. Long ago, humans traveled far, leaving behind tools, machines, devices. Most were lost. But this, it's something special. Something meant to be protected. She glanced at the floating outlines of her tribe. They need me. But I need to understand the device first. Jack knelt beside her. We'll figure it out together. Step by step. Ayana took a deep breath and closed her eyes, focusing on the pulsing light. She sent a steady wave of calm energy into the device, like a gentle conversation. The light responded, pulsing brighter, forming faint patterns that seemed to dance across its surface. Jack watched, amazed. It's responding to her, like it knows her. He whispered. Ayana nodded. It knows us. It trusts us. It protects, guides, and teaches. My people understood this. Now, I must too. Hours passed as she concentrated, feeling the energy, learning its patterns. Jack stayed close, offering quiet encouragement. He realized that the device was more than a machine. It was a living archive of knowledge, capable of sensing the intentions of those who approached it. Finally, a soft glow enveloped the outlines of her tribe. Slowly, the figures solidified, becoming more distinct. Jack could see the faces, calm and serene, their bodies suspended in a perfect state of protection. They're responding to her energy, Jack said softly. They're waiting for the right moment. They're responding to her energy. Ayana's eyes shone with determination. I can feel it. They're alive. I can bring them back. She extended her hands, sending pulses of energy into the device. The light brightened, and the outlines of her tribe began to move, as if waking from a deep sleep. Jack held his breath, watching the miracle unfold. Slowly, one by one, the members of her tribe solidified, their eyes opening as they looked around. Ayana gasped. Everyone, you're safe. The tribe members looked at her, their faces filled with recognition and relief. They moved carefully, stepping out of the protective field, their trust in Ayana evident in their calm, deliberate actions. Jack could feel the joy and gratitude radiating from them. We are safe? One of them asked softly, eyes wide with wonder. Yes, Ayana said, tears streaming down her cheeks. The device protected us. We're together again. Jack smiled, feeling a deep sense of pride and awe. Humanity's ingenuity, combined with courage and empathy, had achieved something remarkable. The device had kept them safe, but it was the human spirit, Ayana's determination, her understanding, and Jack's support that had unlocked its potential. As the tribe gathered around Ayana, the device pulsed softly, its energy flowing into the surrounding valley. Jack realized that the technology was not just a tool, it was a bridge, a connection between human creativity and the energy of the planet itself. Ayana turned to Jack. There's more, she said. The device. It shows us possibilities. Humans are capable of more than we know. We can adapt, create, survive, even thrive in places no one thought possible. Jack nodded slowly. I can feel it. This is humanity's gift. Not just power, but understanding, courage, ingenuity. The tribe members looked around in awe, exploring the valley and the glowing stones. They had been away from their home for so long, and now they were alive, safe, and free to continue their guardianship. Jack watched them with admiration, realizing that he had witnessed something extraordinary. But even as the joy filled the valley, Jack knew that challenges still lay ahead. The Zarathi were out there, curious and intelligent. They had not attacked, but they would not stop observing, and the device, powerful as it was, required careful guidance. Ayana sensed his thoughts. "We will protect it," she said firmly, "and we will learn from it. My tribe, we can now teach others. We can use it wisely." Jack smiled. "And I'll help. Humans can adapt, we can learn, and we can protect what matters." The tribe gathered around the device, their energy blending with its glow. The valley seemed to respond, the crystals shimmering brighter, the mist swirling gently as if celebrating the reunion. Jack felt a sense of connection, not just to Ayana and her people, but to humanity itself. This is more than a rescue," he said softly. "It's a revelation. A reminder of what humans can do when we work together, when we use our hearts and minds." Ayana nodded. "And now, we begin a new chapter. My people are safe. The device is protected, and humanity has shown its strength in ways even the stars didn't expect." Jack looked around at the glowing valley, feeling a mix of awe and hope. Elysium Prime was full of mysteries, dangers, and wonders, but it was also full of possibilities. And with humans like Ayana and her tribe, guided by courage, understanding, and empathy, the future seemed brighter than ever. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the valley. The crystals glowed softly, illuminating the faces of the tribe, Ayana, and Jack. The device hummed gently, a heartbeat of energy that symbolized life, hope, and human ingenuity. Jack placed a hand on Ayana's shoulder. "We did it. Together." Ayana smiled, her eyes shining with tears and determination. "Yes. Together. And this is only the beginning." As the night fell, the valley glowed like a beacon of light and life. Jack knew that this moment would stay with him forever, a reminder of humanity's potential, the power of courage, and the magic that comes from understanding and protecting what is truly important. In the heart of the glowing valley, the tribe began to share their stories, teaching Jack and each other about the energy, the device, and the lessons of the past. Jack realized that he was not just a visitor or a helper. He was part of something greater. He was witnessing humanity's strength, creativity, and empathy in action. And for the first time since he arrived on Elysium Prime, Jack felt a sense of belonging, not just to the land, but to humanity itself. The valley hummed with life and energy, the device glowing like a heart in the center. Jack knew that together, they could face any challenge. Humanity had the courage, the wisdom, and the heart to thrive even in the farthest reaches of the galaxy. And as he looked at Ayana, her tribe, and the glowing valley, Jack understood the truth. Sometimes, the smallest acts, trust, courage, understanding, could change everything. They had unlocked not just the device, but the potential of humanity itself. The stars twinkled overhead, the twin moons casting silver light over the valley. The energy from the device flowed through the land, through the tribe, and through Jack and Ayana. It was a new dawn, a new beginning, and a promise that the story of humanity on Elysium Prime had only just begun. The morning sun rose over the glowing valley, casting golden light across the crystal-studded cliffs. Mist lingered in the air, reflecting soft hues of pink and silver, as if the planet itself was celebrating the reunion of Ayana's tribe. The river, now calm and bright, wound its way through the valley, carrying the gentle hum of energy from the device at its center. Jack stood beside Ayana, watching her people move through the valley. There was laughter, quiet chatter, and the soft singing of traditional songs. The tribe was alive, whole, and safe, a living proof of courage, determination, and human ingenuity. Jack felt a deep sense of pride and wonder. He had never imagined that a single journey, begun with a chance encounter by a river, could lead to something so extraordinary. Ayana approached him, her eyes bright with hope. "We've done it," she said softly. "They're safe. The device is protected. And I've learned so much. I understand the energy now. I know how to use it to guide and protect. Just like my ancestors did." Jack nodded. "You've done more than that. You've shown me, really, what humans are capable of." Ayana smiled. "And we've learned that together, we can face anything, even the unknown." Jack glanced at the valley, feeling the truth of her words. The hills, the river, the crystals, they were all alive with energy. The device pulsed gently at the center. A heartbeat connecting the tribe, the land, and the humans who had come to protect it. It was a symbol of hope, of potential, and of the enduring spirit of humanity. The tribe gathered around the device, forming a circle. Jack stepped back, giving them space, as Ayana raised her hands to speak. "My people," she began, her voice steady and clear. "We have been given a second chance. We have been protected, guided, and reunited. Now it is our duty to protect this device, to learn from it, and to use its energy wisely. Not for power, not for greed, but to help, to create, and to protect life." The tribe nodded in agreement, their faces filled with determination. They had survived the storm, the separation, and the uncertainty. Now, together, they could fulfill their purpose as guardians of the device, honoring both their ancestors and the future they would shape. Jack stepped forward. "And we'll help," he said firmly. "Humans can adapt. We can learn. And we can face challenges no matter how strange or difficult they seem. You're not alone anymore." Ayana turned to him, a small smile playing on her lips. "I know, Jack. You've shown me that courage and determination can make a difference. Together, we can do more than we ever imagined." Over the next few days, Jack and the tribe explored the valley. They discovered hidden pathways, crystal formations that amplified energy, and natural springs that carried the device's pulse through the land. The river became their guide, leading them to new discoveries, teaching them about the planet, and reminding them of the resilience of life. Jack found himself learning as much as he was teaching. He had always relied on instinct and experience, but the tribe's knowledge, their harmony with the planet, and their understanding of the device opened his mind to possibilities he had never considered. He realized that humanity's strength was not just in survival, it was in adaptation, creativity, and empathy. Ayana spent hours with the device, learning its patterns, understanding its language of energy, and discovering how to share its knowledge safely. Jack watched her work, feeling a deep respect for her intelligence, courage, and intuition. She had grown in ways that even he hadn't expected. One afternoon, as they sat by the river, Jack spoke quietly. "You know, I've wandered a lot of worlds, seen strange things, and faced challenges I never imagined. But this journey, it's different. Your tribe. You've taught me something I didn't fully understand before. That even in the unknown, humans can make a difference. That courage and understanding can change everything." Ayana smiled softly. "And you've taught me that humans can rely on each other. That even in the darkest moments, hope can guide us. Together, we are stronger than any challenge." As the days passed, the tribe began to teach others in the colony about the device, the energy of the planet, and the lessons they had learned. Jack and Ayana worked together, helping humans understand how to respect the energy and how to use it for creation and protection, not for exploitation. The Zarathi, who had once been cautious observers, appeared at the edge of the valley. But instead of hostility, they seemed curious and respectful. Ayana communicated with them using the same energy pulses she had used before. And slowly, the Zarathi began to understand the humans' intentions. They watched as humans worked alongside the tribe, learning, creating, and protecting. Jack realized that this moment marked a turning point. Humans had not only survived, they had shown that their courage, creativity, and empathy could extend beyond their own kind. They could connect with other species, share knowledge, and create harmony even in the most alien environments. One evening, as the twin moons rose over the valley, Jack and Ayanna stood together on a small hill overlooking the river. The valley below glowed softly, alive with energy, life, and the promise of a bright future. "Do you ever think about how it all started?" Jack asked quietly. "A chance encounter by a river. Who would have thought it would lead here?" Ayanna laughed softly. "I think about it all the time. That day, I was lost, alone, and scared. But you showed up. You helped me believe that we could find a way. That's when everything changed." Jack smiled, tipping his hat slightly. "Sometimes, it just takes someone to notice, to care, and then, everything else falls into place." The river whispered below them, carrying the energy of the valley, the device, and the people it protected. Jack felt a deep sense of peace. He had found not only adventure but purpose, and he knew that humanity's story on Elysium Prime was just beginning. Over the next weeks, the colony and Ayanna's tribe worked together to integrate the knowledge from the device into daily life. Humans learned how to harness energy for clean water, light, and communication. Crops flourished in the valley, aided by the device's gentle influence. The colony grew stronger, more connected, and more respectful of the planet's wonders. Jack watched it all with quiet satisfaction. The journey had begun with a simple act of noticing a weeping girl by a river. Now, humans had proven that their courage, intelligence, and empathy could create a future where hope and life thrived, even on a distant world. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Jack and Ayanna sat by the river, watching the light dance on the water. The tribe sang softly in the distance, their voices blending with the hum of the device and the whispers of the river. "This is home now," Ayanna said softly. "For them, and for all of us." Jack nodded. "And it's just the beginning. Humans have a way of turning hope into action. We adapt, we learn, and we create. Who knows what we'll discover next?" Ayanna smiled, leaning slightly against him. "Whatever it is, we'll face it together. Humans, tribe, and all the rest. We've learned that courage, understanding, and cooperation can overcome anything." Jack looked out over the valley, the river, and the glowing crystals. He felt a surge of pride, not just for himself, but for humanity, for the tribe, for the people who believed in protecting life, understanding energy, and creating a better future. "This is our dawn," he said quietly. "A new beginning, and we're ready for it." As night fell, the twin moons reflected off the river, the crystals, and the device. The valley glowed with life, energy, and hope. Jack, Ayanna, and the tribe had changed the course of humanity on Elysium Prime. They had shown that even in the vast unknown, humans could adapt, inspire, and create a future full of promise. And so, the cowboy who had discovered a weeping girl by the river had found more than adventure. He had found purpose, connection, and the enduring truth that humanity, at its best, could shine brighter than the stars themselves. The device pulsed softly at the heart of the valley. The river whispered beside them, and the stars sparkled overhead. Humanity's story on Elysium Prime had entered a new chapter, one of courage, hope, and limitless possibilities. Jack tipped his hat to the valley, to the tribe, and to Ayanna. "Here's to the future," he said softly. Ayanna smiled, her eyes reflecting the twin moons. "Here's to us." Quote, 2012, 2024, end quote. The river flowed, the crystals glowed, and the dawn of a new human adventure had truly begun.